Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. You?
I'm doing very well. So last time we had a whole list of questions,
Yes.
and you did better than you thought you were going to do, as I recall.
Your voice is a little bit cutting.
Yeah, I can't hear you clearly either. I don't know what the problem
I,
is.
I don't know what's happening right now. Oh,
Yeah, that's a little bit strange. I think it's going to be difficult to do the lesson. I can't end the lesson. I can't leave without ending the
okay.
lesson. Can you leave and come back? Try to join again?
Yeah, no problem. Please continue this.
Okay. Can you try to leave the and rejoin?
Oh, rejoin? Okay, I'll try.
Yeah. Okay, let's try again.
Mm, not a big change.
No, that's a little bit difficult to do the lesson if the audio isn't working properly.
Hmm.
So maybe we should reschedule this, Harris. I think you can save some minutes if we just
Uh,
reschedule for another
should we,
time.
yeah. Should we reschedule lesson? Uh, I'm okay. Okay. Uh,
Okay, yeah, actually it sounds
should we
better
reschedule?
now. It still sounds strange to you because it sounds okay for me now.
Okay for me too.
Okay, so I see you've chosen a mock test here. Would you like to do an IELTS mock test?
Sorry, could you repeat again?
I see you have chosen a lesson plan here.
I changed the lesson. Yes. Uh, uh, Actually, I haven't started this work on the part two, part three preparation, but so I like to focus on part one today.
Okay, so do you have any questions in mind? Do you want to
Uh,
choose some questions or should I choose?
uh, I want to test me. I don't have any uh question today. So
Okay, so let's just we'll do some part one questions then.
it's just part one question. So I
Okay,
thought this
so the
code
the
include. Mm,
say again.
I thought this lesson include some example tests
Okay,
that
well let's have a
example
look. Let's
question.
have a look and see. Let's have a look.
Okay. Mm,
Okay, so we got some notes on speaking, got
mm,
vocabulary tips, got a speaking mock test.
mm,
So let's have a look and see what we've got. Okay, so you know this
okay.
already, part one, part two, and
Yes,
part three,
I
right?
know that. Okay. It's okay too.
The, you got this already.
Yes. Mm, mm. Okay.
Okay, I think you're aware of these ones as well, right?
Hmm. This is for part two.
Okay, we're not going to do part 2, right?
It's not gonna. Yeah, I don't.
Okay, let's see what they have for part 1.
Okay. Hmm.
Okay, so very,
Okay.
very important here. This is what
Mhm,
sometimes Cambly doesn't get it quite right with their
mhm.
lessons. So what an examiner will say to you is, yes, hello, my name is Matthew. What, can you tell me your full name, please? That's what they ask you. Can you tell me your full name? So you answer using your full name in your language. Okay.
Full name.
So
Okay.
what can you tell me your full name, please?
Uh, my family name is Hirashima, and the first name is Hayate.
Okay. And then they ask you, and what should I call you?
Uh, please call me Harris.
Okay. Very good. Now I say, in this first part, I'd like to ask you some questions about yourself.
Mhm.
What kind of
Um,
accommodation do you live in at present?
uh, I'm living in the flat with one bedroom, and I've lived here for 3 years.
Okay. I would say I'm living in a flat.
I've lived in a flat for 3 years.
Okay.
Living.
Oh, okay.
Mm,
They usually just ask one question at a time. What's the difference between where you live now and your previous accommodation?
Uh, uh, I moved here uh, 3 years ago due to my change of workplace. So, and the place I used to live was is also flat, but with 2 bedrooms.
Okay, so flat.
Flat,
So you said frat there.
uh, uh, or L,
Yeah.
flat.
So
Okay.
flat. Yeah.
Uh, okay, flat.
What's your favorite room in your home?
Uh, uh, I like living room because living room has my work desk here, and also I have my favorite chair for studying or something. It's comfortable comfortable here.
Okay, so I like my living room.
I like my living room. Okay, my
Yeah.
living
And you
room
said
room.
loom the
My
second time instead of
room.
room. Yeah.
Uh, my living room.
Okay. Okay, now we run out of part 1 questions. So that was very, very
Uh,
quick because IELTS will actually ask
uh,
you about 3
uh,
topics, not just 2.
ah, however, just 3 topics. Mm,
Part 1 has
mm,
3 topics. So I would say Cambly's lesson here is not very accurate in
mm.
terms of
Should uh I make my answer more longer or more specifically?
I think in part 1 it's okay to just give 2 or 3 sentences, and
Mm,
I think the reason there is that you don't really want to give a very long answer
mm,
because the examiner is trying to ask you 12 questions. So 3 topics, 4 questions each. It's going to be very difficult to ask all of those questions if you're giving long answers. So you might get interrupted if you give a very long answer. And nobody likes to be interrupted. Sometimes it can make you feel a bit nervous and uncomfortable. So it's better to keep your own answers short so that you can avoid being interrupted by the examiner. Okay. Now I'm gonna stop with this lesson unless you want to do part 2.
Yeah.
You want to do it?
Yeah. I'm
Want to try part 2?
I can't answer it.
Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do is do you have a pencil and paper handy to take notes?
Yeah, I never tried part 2.
Okay, well, let me just talk to you about it first, okay? Let me explain. So you'll see that you have your topic, a home you visited recently, okay, that you really liked. Okay, so this is your topic. I would write one word on your note paper to talk about where that home is or whose home it is, right? Then these points here are to help you talk about it. So where it was, whose apartment or house it was, what it was like, and why you liked it. Now, the problem here is that this doesn't give you enough information to talk about something for 2 minutes. 2 minutes could be quite a long time. So what you want to do is, I would say, make one note on your note paper for each of these 4 points. And they're usually these W questions: why, who, what, when. But the best advice that I can give you here is don't limit yourself to talking about these points. What candidates usually do is they go through this list very quickly, and then they don't have anything else to say. They can't think of anything else to say. And if you stop talking before 2 minutes, the examiner is just going to ask you to start, to keep going. And what most people do is they go back and they start talking about something again. So they're repeating themselves, and that's not good for fluency. So I'd say, make one note about each of these things, then maybe go back if you have time and try to think of some details to talk about, and maybe write down some vocabulary for each of the points. So use your note taking to try to help yourself as much as possible. When you start speaking, keep the topic card and the notes handy so that you can remind yourself what to talk about next. And then my advice is always to think about telling a story. So tell a story about the time you visited the house. It brings back images, details to your mind that you can talk about. You can talk about what you saw in the house. You can talk about how many floors the house was. Were the rooms big or small? What was in the rooms? Who did you go with? Did you visit the house alone? Did you visit your friends who own the house? Did you have a party there? Did you have dinner? How did you feel about the house? What were your impressions of it? How did it make you feel? So usually when you tell a story like that, it gives you a lot of things to talk about, not just the 4 points on the card. It's something else that you can talk fluently about. And don't worry if you don't cover all of these points on the card. You don't have to, right? It's just there to help you. As long as you're talking about the house, then it doesn't matter if you follow the points on the card. Don't worry if you don't finish everything that you wanted to talk about. So if you're in the middle of a sentence and the examiner stops you at 2 minutes, it's just about timing. It's not about whether you finished or not. So don't try to speed up and talk quickly because you don't think you have enough time.
Speed up.
Very important to just keep going naturally and it doesn't matter if you get cut off and the
Oh,
examiner
different.
stops you.
Right.
When the examiner says thank you, that's when you stop, and
Oh,
it doesn't matter if you haven't finished your sentence, doesn't matter if you haven't reached all of the points yet. All right, so if you have some paper and a
okay.
pencil, then you can take
Mhm.
notes. Do you have a paper and a pencil ready?
Okay.
So I'm
It's
going to
ready.
start the clock, and I'm going to give you 1 minute to prepare your notes, starting now.
Me. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Now remember, you have
Oh,
1 to 2 minutes for this, so don't worry if I stop you. I'll
oh,
tell you when the time is up.
one minute
Can you start
already.
speaking
So.
now, please? Yes, it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I last month I visited the house who's one of my high school classmates live there. Uh, and there is my neighborhood, and so uh, the uh, the place my friend lived in is the flat with 3 bedroom and which is newly established apartment and within the center of the city. Uh, it's very convenient place. Um, the the apartment within the working distance. There are post office and the supermarket and tourism something essential facility to live and uh, so if I live there I don't need to own a car so it's very uh, cost effective and and that's right has uh, uh, common community place to and like uh, gym or gym and uh, the place to work remotely. It's very convenient and efficient to work for me. And so uh, I like uh, it. It's my option to live there, but I have to talk about with my wife. Uh, uh, where is
Thank you.
it?
Okay, so I think the good point is your vocabulary. So you got some nice vocabulary there. You're able to talk about
Really?
cost-effective, convenient. So
Uh,
the problems, I think, and actually the grammar is not bad either. The
uh,
problem is
yeah.
fluency. So lots of when you're pausing and
That's yes.
hesitating.
I said
Yeah.
yeah.
But this is the kind of thing that practice will bring to you very quickly, right? You'll be able to do it much more easily if you keep practicing. You need to practice every day speaking
Okay.
English. This helps you to remember your vocabulary. I think you've got good vocabulary. You just need to remember it more quickly, right? So I think, taking notes also helps you in part two. Taking good notes helps you to continue. And I didn't see you using your notes much. So if you practice taking notes, I think it's a good idea. There are different ways to take notes. There are people who make a list. Usually people will make a list on the paper, right? But if you're going to make a list, as I said, space it out. Make a one-word note for each of the points on the card, then go back and try to think of that vocabulary you need before you start speaking, because usually that will help you. Yeah, but then another way to make notes is to draw a circle in the middle of the note paper and write the topic, and then draw some lines out from the center and make your notes at the end of the line. It's like a map. Yeah, we say it's a mind map or a word web. Some people call it. Yeah, and again, when you write those 4 words, then go back and try to add words. But some people find that's an easier way to organize what they want to say, rather than making a list. And another effective way that I often see students using is they make a cross in the middle of the paper, and then they have 4 areas to write their notes in to correspond to the 4 points. So what I would advise is try a different method when you practice part 2. Try all 3 methods. Try one topic with the list, one topic with the map, one topic with the cross, and see which one works the best for you, because it may be that you find you prefer one method over another. One method helps you more to organize your thoughts and to use it to be helpful for you to use. So the other things I noticed was I'll post it here. That L and R sound. Classmates, frat. You said past office instead of post office.
Flat.
So what I would do is start making a list of these words which you mispronounce and practice those. Just go down the list and practice them every day until you can correct that pronunciation, because that will affect your pronunciation score in the IELTS test. A very common mistake for Japanese speakers of English. So do you have any questions for me, Harris?
Actually, in the test, the people tend to read the paper in the part 2.
No, you can check your notes. You can check and glance. Just look briefly at your notes, but don't try to write sentences or read it. That's very unnatural. It's not going to help you. So here are some examples. Some examples of part 3 questions. Part 3 questions, you want to be giving some longer answers. So you want to answer the question, then you want to explain and give an example as well. So you want to try these questions?
Okay, that's right.
Okay, what are the advantages of houses compared to apartments?
In my opinion, the houses can have the own gardens and have a lot of place on the flip side, the apartment has a limited place, a few rest bedrooms. Mm.
Okay, so I would say you need a little bit more explanation there, maybe an example. So, for example, a house has a garden. Why is that an advantage? Why is a garden an advantage?
Advantage advantage is gardening is one of some people uh some people like gardening as a hobby, like the women like such as mother and old women, and and gardening mm, gardening is just like a hobby. Mm.
Can you give me an example of somebody who enjoys gardening?
Some people enjoy gardening. Some people enjoy gardening. I mean, gardening is a good way to relax, unwind, and some people others think gardening is relaxation. Mm.
Okay. What are the disadvantages of houses compared to apartments?
Disadvantages. Apartments has more solid security and compared to houses. Houses are relatively easy to get involved the crime, like a robbery or something. But apartments has a good security with by building manager.
Okay. So I think you've got the right idea. You just need to develop your ideas fully with explanation. So if you're not sure about how to explain, just ask yourself why or how. Okay. So very often, if you ask yourself that question, it avoids the examiner asking you the same question, and you give a developed answer. And then an example would be a specific instance of somebody or a type of person or a type of situation, maybe from your country or your culture, where you could see that idea. So, for example, you could have used elderly people usually like to garden to relax in their retirement time, and it's a very peaceful, non-physical activity that can help them to relax and feel at peace. All right. Do you have any questions?
Okay, and in part three, can I answer more longer than part one?
Yes, absolutely. You should provide more information, but just stick to one idea and develop that idea fully.
Okay.
All right, Harris, it's been nice to chat with you again today. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.